Hey guys, I'm going to be taking you through a full body movement sequence today. Just get every joint moving. So this is meant to be explorative. Make sure you're making any modifications or adjustments that you might need. The only thing you'll need is a bath towel or a blanket. I'm using a scarf, but anything like this will do. And you can get started in a comfortable seat. If you have a pillow or a prop, you can kind of lift your hips up a bit if that feels good, and then you can relax your arms down on your thighs or maybe take them to the low belly, somewhere that feels easy and effortless. And then you can come to a soft gaze or just let the eyes close. Invite your energy to settle. And we'll take a couple of cycles of breath here just to help us drop into the body. Start to notice how your breath is feeling. It might feel restricted or maybe it's flowing smoothly. See if you can take some time and notice your breath. And see if you can maybe start to make your breath a little bit more expansive. So think of inhaling 360 degrees into that rib cage. And then you can feel for a nice recoil of the rib cage on your exhale. Just kind of see how that goes. And then when you feel ready to add some movement to your breath, you'll inhale, reach both arms up, and exhale, rotate to your right. Your inhale takes you back up, and you can exhale over to your left. So see if you can just let your breath take you in and out of your movement here. Starting to wake up the spine a bit. Good. And then the next time that you are over to your right, you'll pause, take a second, look over your right shoulder, and then turn your head, look over your left shoulder. Take a couple of breaths, see if you can feel for that 360 degrees of expansion right in your rib cage. And then turn your head one more time, look back over the right, float through center, reach both arms up, and then rotate to your left. Turn your head, look over your left shoulder, and then rotate your head, look over your right shoulder. Take a couple of breaths here. So your spine is going one way, but then your neck, your cervical spine is going the other way. Good. And then one more time, just inhale, reach both arms up, and exhale, your palms will come to the mat. And let's come into a tabletop position. So you're gonna stack your shoulders directly over your palms, and your hips are directly over your knees. And you can start to rock your hips back and forth. Okay, so we'll do a couple of rock backs. And I like to do a couple with my toes tucked, and then I'll untuck the toes and do a couple with the toes untucked. You can just kind of observe in your own body which one feels more comfortable, which one you get a little bit more stretch. Good. And then we'll pause in the tabletop. Tuck the toes under now, lift the knees 1 inch. Let's take 4 breaths. So keep pressing your palms into the floor, lifting your rib cage up towards the ceiling. If you need this to be a little bit easier, you can lift your knees up a little bit higher. Okay, the lower your knees are, the more engaging it will be for the core. And then after your 4th breath, you'll drop your knees down, extend your right leg straight back behind you, push the ball of the foot into the floor, and reach your left arm forward. So it's kind of like you're going to shake someone's hand with this left arm. We'll hold. And you'll float your left hand down, press into the ball of the right foot, lift your left leg up. And you can drop the left knee down, step your right leg forward now in between your hands, and come up to a 90-90 lunge. So see if you can tuck your tail just a bit. You'll create a little bit of openness in your low back and get a little bit of a stretch in the left hip. You can interlace your hands behind your head and you'll side bend to your left and then side bend to your right. Okay, but your lower body is keeping you anchored here. So you might try dragging your legs towards each other on the mat, and that will just help you create a little bit of tension. Great. And then bring your hands to your right thigh. Start to drive the knee forward and backward. So you're driving it over your second and third toe, trying to anchor down with your right heel. And then the next time your knee is forward, you'll pause. So it's past your ankle, right? It's past 90 degrees. You'll lean your torso forward a bit and then extend your arms out alongside your ears. Okay. Take a couple of breaths, keep dragging your legs towards each other. You want to keep all your weight load down in this front leg and you'll start to arc up and back. So take a bit of a back bend, try to open the heart. And then you'll come back down, frame your front foot with your two hands and step your right leg back. We'll tuck the toes under, lift the knees, send the hips back towards the heels, and then start to reach your hips up and back towards your down dog. So see how much length you can create between your hands and your hips, right? So keep pressing your palms into the floor. You can look right in between the legs. Maybe walk out your dog a bit. And then you'll rock forward to your high plank. And now you'll drop your right knee down and your left leg is out long behind you. And you'll extend your right arm alongside your ear. And again, we'll take a couple of breaths. And you'll bring the right palm down, push into the ball of your left foot and lift your right leg up. And then you'll drop the right knee down and step your left leg forward now in between your hands and then rise on up to your 90-90 lunge. Again, see if you can do that posterior tilt of the pelvis here. Interlace your hands behind your head. And this time we'll do rotation of the rib cage. So you can rotate to the left and then rotate to the right. Try to fixate your hips so you feel only your rib cage rotating around a pelvis that is not moving. And then you'll take both hands to your top thigh. Maybe put the opposite hand on top this time and start to drive your knee forward over your second and third toe. And the next time your knee's forward over your toe, you'll leave it there, lean your torso forward a bit, and extend your arms out alongside your ears. Okay, so see if you can really load your front leg. You're dragging your legs towards each other on the mat. And then you'll start to reach up and back. See if you can create a nice arc here. Maybe the arms go past the ears. Take a couple of breaths. And then you can bring your hands down to frame that front foot, sweep it back. And now you'll walk your hands in and rise up to a tall kneeling and grab your bath towel or blanket, whatever you're using here, and see if you can start to pull it apart, okay? So 60 to 80% effort here, right? We're really pulling it apart. And then you're gonna inhale your arms and reach up. Imagine lifting your rib cage off of your pelvis, keep pulling it apart, and then slowly lower down. And see if you can do that 4 or 5 times. Just kind of notice how it feels in your body. Start to feel the shoulders work. And then you'll reach your arms up. Okay, pause, re-engage, pull it apart, side bend to your right. And use your side waist to pull you up and side bend left. Let's go one more time to each side. Try not to use momentum. Try to keep the tension, pulling your blanket apart. Good, and then you'll slowly come forward and drop it down. Great, you can lower it down. And just a couple of times, you can take your hands to your hips or wherever you want. We'll keep the toes untucked and sit the hips back towards the heels. And then rise up, tuck the toes, send the hips back towards the heels. And see if you can alternate your foot position a couple of times and just notice which position feels easier, which one feels a little bit more restricted or like uncharted territory in your body. And then let's come back down into tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, send the hips back towards the heels, and then up towards your down dog. And we'll play a little bit with lifting the arms up here. So see if you can lift your right palm. Try to keep the weight even under both feet, even though you lifted a hand. Drop the right palm down and lift the left palm. Try to minimize any movement in the pelvis. And you can go back and forth a couple of times here. Check in, make sure you can still hear you breathing. And then you can start to walk your feet towards your hands at the top of your mat. Bring your blanket with you, grab onto it, and let's just forward fold for a second before we come up. So bend the knees generously, relax the head and the neck, right? Make sure you could shake your head yes completely. And then when you feel ready, you'll take your blanket with you, ground down through the tripod of your feet. So big toe mound, little toe mound, heel, and start to roll your spine up one vertebrae at a time, nice and slow. The slower you go, the more you'll feel. And your head will be the last to arrive. You'll have your blanket right out in front of you, and you'll reach both arms up. Take a nice inhale, and then exhale over to your right. Side waist pulls you up, and side bend over to your left. Keep pulling your blanket apart. Make sure you still feel your connection with the feet on the mat. Good, and then you're gonna start to reach your hips back and your arms forward. So you're coming into a flat back, and we could balance a cup of water on your low back here, ground down through your feet, come right back up to stand. So see if you can do 6 to 8 of these hip hinges. Okay, it's all in the hips, so you do have a slight knee bend, but then it's all about hips going back, arms reaching forward. If this is too much on your shoulders, okay, you could always just take your hands down and do the same movement. Okay, so plenty of options here. See what feels right to you. We'll do one more and pause. Okay, so hips go back as much as possible. Try to keep the ribs down, arms up. We'll take 2 breaths, keep pulling your blanket apart, and then forward fold. So you can drop the blanket for a second. Okay, relax the head and the neck again. Plant your palms, step back to a plank, and then control yourself. You can lower your knees down or not. Control your body all the way down to your mat. Make sure you can see me. Okay. So let's start out with the forehead down on the mat and the arms out, making a T. Okay. And see if you can glue the tops of your feet down to the floor and push them in the floor so that the kneecaps lift up. And then your forehead will stay down. You're gonna lift your arms up and then control them back to the floor. See if you can do that 5 or 6 times. And then the next time your arms are up, let's pause and add a lift of the chest and the head. But your gaze is still right down in front of you, so the back of your neck is nice and long. You'll internally rotate the shoulder, elbow, and wrist, and then externally rotate the shoulder, elbow, and wrist. We'll do 4 to 6 axial rotations here, okay? Check in with your breath. Make sure the tops of your feet are still pushing down into the floor. A lot of shoulder work. And then you can sweep your arms all the way forward, relax them down, bend the knees, and gently sway the legs side to side. Great. And then you're gonna kiss your heels together, okay? And really push them into each other and lower the feet about halfway to the floor. Take your palms under your shoulders, elbows up, and you're coming into kind of a cobra variation here. But we're trying to target these mid-back muscles, okay? So your chin stays fairly tucked, back of the neck is long. Push the heels in towards each other. Let's take 5 breaths here. Okay, so still counting breaths. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you'll press your palms back behind you. See if you can get the triceps to kick on a bit. Right, really push those palms together. And then when you feel ready to release, you're gonna make a big butterfly stroke all the way forward with those arms. Relax the upper body, relax the lower body. Shake out the hips side to side. And then one more time, glue the tops of the feet down so that the kneecaps lift up. Interlace the hands behind the head now. Get the elbows up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready, try to lift from these mid-back muscles. Chest and the head go up. And then control back down. Okay, so let your breath take you in and out of your movement. If it's too much to lift the chest and the head, you could also just play with lifting, lowering your elbows. Okay, or maybe you only lift like an inch, that works too, okay? More is not better, better is better. So just kind of meet yourself where you are, see what feels right to you. We'll do one more and hold. And you'll straighten your arms and rebend the elbows. Straighten the arms, rebend the elbows. Great, and lower back down. Okay, bend the knees one more time. Windshield wiper the legs side to side. Take your palms underneath your shoulders. 2 options, you could do a knee push-up or a classic push-up, right? So knee push-up, everything knees to head lifts flat as a board. Okay, if you want to do your classic push-up, you tuck your toes under, you lift the knees up, everything toes to head, flat as a board. And we'll drop the knees down, crawl the hands forward so you're on tented fingertips, tuck the chin, head towards a child's pose. Let the belly be soft for a second. Reconnect with your breath. And then when you feel ready, you're gonna start to lift your hips up. Okay, start with the hips. You're gonna roll the spine up 1 vertebrae at a time, kind of like a wave. And then once your head arrives in line with your spine, you'll be in your tabletop. You'll tuck your toes under, lift your knees, send your hips back towards your heels. You're in a down dog. And you're gonna extend your right leg up and back behind you. And then step it forward right in between your hands. And then you're gonna rise up to a lunge, okay? So you have a nice bend in your front knee. And then you might walk your back leg in a little bit, and then take your hands to your hips and see if you can move through a couple of pelvic tilts. So see if you can tuck and untuck your tailbone a couple of times. And then see if you can move your hips left and right. So if you think of the hip bones as an elevator, you're kind of dropping the left hip and then dropping the right hip. Okay? And then see if you can get your two hip bones in a nice line here. Great. And you're gonna start to do some lunges. So you lower your back knee almost to the floor and then straighten it back up. Okay, you can keep your hands on your hips. Okay, you can reach your arms forward. Or you can reach your arms all the way up alongside your ears. Okay, see what feels good to you. And on your last one, let's hold for 4 breaths. Really traction those legs towards each other. Feel all that great work. And then you're gonna straighten both legs, plant your palms down. See if you can walk your back leg in a bit and see if you can take a straight leg forward fold. So this is where blocks come in handy if you happen to have them at home. Take a couple of breaths. Good. And then I want you to bend into your front knee. I'm just gonna back up a little. Bend into your front knee and draw your back knee in towards your chest. Okay, and then see if you can take your time and roll up to balance on your right leg. Okay, and see if you can bring your left knee to 90 degrees and reach both arms up. So just take a second, right? Balance is a movement, not a stillness. Good, and you're gonna open your left hip and then close it. So you can do that a couple of times. You also could take your hands down by your heart, right? Good, you could also bring your tiptoe to the floor if balance is an issue for you, okay? Or go to a wall. Great. And then when you're ready, you're gonna extend your arms forward, kick your leg back for warrior 3, plant your palms down, plant your left leg back down, and extend your right leg up and back into a 3-legged down dog. Rock forward to a high plank, drop your knees down, and then grab your blanket, walk your hands in, come back to a tall kneeling. And we're gonna get a little bit more shoulder work going here. So you're gonna pull your blanket apart, okay? Bring it so the arms are right in line with your shoulders, and then hike your shoulders up towards your ears. Keep the shoulders up, keep pulling apart, pull your shoulders back, keep them back, drop them down, keep them down, push them forward, okay? They're forward, now hike them up, they're up, pull them back, they're back, drop them down, they're down, push them forward. So we'll go one more in this forward direction, and you're basically making a big controlled slow circle with your shoulders. Okay, so keep pulling it apart, drop the shoulders down, pull them back, they're back, pull them up, they're up, push them forward. And we'll do 2 more to the back like that. And a little more here, you're gonna lift the arms up, pull your blanket apart, side bend to the right, and now you're gonna rotate your heart up to the right and down to the left. So we're side bending and adding a bit of a rotation here. We'll do one more. Come through center, side bend left, little bit of a rotation here. Come through center, and then slowly lower the arms down, shake them out of it. Head back into your tabletop, tuck your toes, lift your knees, hips go back, you're in your down dog. Now you're gonna extend your left leg up and back behind you, and then rock forward, step your foot right in between your hands, and you'll rise up to your lunge with your left leg in front, okay? So again, take your hands to your hips, you might walk your back leg in a bit, okay? You wanna tuck your tailbone a bit, and then untuck your tailbone, Okay, so see if you can move through a couple of pelvic tilts. It'll be pretty subtle, okay, but sometimes we can learn a lot from these subtle movements. And then see if you can do the side to side, okay? So you drop your left hip and then drop your right hip. Okay, try to find somewhere that feels neutral to you, right? Both hip bones in a line. And you'll start to drop your back knee any amount that feels good to you towards the floor. Okay, so some people might go all the way to the floor. Maybe you just bend it an inch. It's all good. Okay, if you want, you can take your arms out in front of you, or you could reach your arms all the way up. Okay, on your next one, you're gonna drop your knee down, drag your legs towards each other. See if you can take 4 breaths. And then slowly lower your arms down, frame your front foot, walk your back foot in a bit. See if you can take a straight leg forward fold here. Make sure you relax the head and the neck completely. Check in with your breath. Notice any sensations in the body. And then you're gonna bend into your front knee. Draw your back knee in towards your chest. Relax your head. Try to bring a little more weight into the heel here so you can get more into this left glute. And then when you feel ready, you'll lift your arms up and see if you can roll up. Okay, and if you have to drop your foot down to get up here, it's no problem. And then you'll bring your right knee to 90 degrees, reach your arms up, and you're gonna open and close this right hip now a couple of times. Maybe wiggle around a bit. Play a little bit with your balance. And then you'll kick this right leg back, come through a warrior 3, plant your palms on either side of your left foot, step your leg back into your lunge, and then let's step the front foot back into a down dog. We'll take 3 breaths, okay, sort of regroup. And then let's rock forward and widen the feet apart. So see if you can come into a high plank. Yep, good. Oh, sorry, a high plank, I mean a wide plank. These videos, God. So you're in your wide-legged plank now, okay? And then just hike your hip up, go towards a down dog, okay? So you rock forward, you're in your wide plank, and then hike your hip up, okay? The next time you rock forward, you pause. Try to keep your hips square. Take your left hand to your heart. Couple of breaths. Float the left hand down, right hand to heart. Okay, so try to minimize any shifting in the hips. Bring the right hand down. We'll hike the hips up. And then when you're ready, you can either step or jump to the outside of your hands. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this way so you can see me. And so you're going to be in your prayer squat. Toes can be out to 11 and 1. You'll see if you can connect your elbows inside your knees for a second. And you're going to inhale, grab your blanket again, arms go up. Exhale, lower the arms. Good. Good. And then plant your palms, straighten the legs. Relax the head completely. Straighten one knee and then go to the other side. Good, and then you can heel toe your feet in, come through a deep squat, head back down onto your mat, and let's kind of end the way we started here. So come back into some version of your comfortable seat. Okay, you can, again, invite your energy to settle. Okay, if it would feel better for you to just lay down and take a bit of a Shavasana, you can do that. But I invite you to take anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes. Close the eyes, reconnect with your breath. And that's your movement for the day.